All right, what's up, you guys? It's Shader Gamer back with another video, back with another banger. Look, you guys, hit the subscribe button, join the Shade Team today because you guys, guess what? I have a special guest. Introduce yourself, please.
Who, me? I'm just listening in. You want me to participate? Oh, hi, everybody. My name's Daniel Ross. I'm a voice actor. You may know me as a lot of voices in a game called MultiVersus. Gizmo, Stripe, and Uncle Shagworthy at your service. So, yeah, I'm here with the Shader Gamer, and we're chilling and chatting, and we can't wait to have this conversation. So, hit me with the questions, my man.
Hey, thank you. Hey, which, by the way, hey, thank you for coming on, though. Hey, matter of fact, people have been speculating about who I'm interviewing next. After I had interviewed MultiVersus Susie, I said, okay, Dave Ross, this is a perfect choice because I actually became a fan of your work for what you did with MultiVersus and all like that. And I didn't even know. I'm like, dang, so you're the voice actor for Grimace and all too. I say, okay, that's pretty cool, you know. But I do want to start off, which I do have a question about that too. But I'm gonna save that for a little bit later. But
Okay,
the
we'll
first
put that in
question.
the parking lot.
Oh wait, you say what?
We'll put that in the parking lot for now.
All right. So the first question I have for you, which I gotta ask this question, tell the Shade Team about yourself and how you got into voice acting.
Well, first of all, hi Shade Team. How you doing? How's my Riz? Yeah, how did I get started? I've always wanted to be an actor. I loved musical theater, comedy, movies, TV, and I thrust myself into that. Back when I lived in Maryland, I did community theater, musical theater, and then I ventured into film and TV. And my life kind of took a pivot, and I decided to get into voice acting because I was always getting into trouble, making silly voices, doing impersonations, using my powers for evil. And I just discovered later in life I could do that for the powers of good. And, it's something I really enjoy. So I moved to LA in 2014, and I've been at this for almost 10 years, being a voice actor, and I love it. I love the community. I love getting to interact with the folks who are part of the properties that I've gotten to work with or work on. So I love the MultiVersus community, and I just think it's a fun game, and it's brought a lot of people together. So I'm excited to chat with all of you and to share in the joy of MultiVersus coming back.
Oh yeah, hey, definitely. 'Cause a lot of us is definitely
Who,
excited for
who was
the.
saying dead game? Who was saying that?
Yeah, for all the
Wasn't
people.
me.
Yeah, all the people calling the game dead. I said, dude, this is what I said. I said, nothing cannot be dead if it still got a heartbeat. The heartbeat for MultiVersus never went away. So,
That's right. That's
right.
right.
And the thing about it, I'm glad you brought up, MultiVerse, because this is the thing that kind of brought it together. Cause me, I'm a MultiVersus content creator. You are a voice actor for the game itself, which I do want to know. How did the role come about with you joining, MultiVersus, Player First Games to go ahead and do the voice actor? How did that come about?
Well, so here's how it goes. So, as a voice actor, I'm kind of like an independent contractor. I get auditions from my agency who send them to me and they say, here, give this a shot. And my job as a voice actor is to audition as much as possible and to do the best job that I can. And so, one of the auditions that came my way was Uncle Shagworthy, who was an obscure Scooby Doo character that was in one episode of Scooby Doo, like back in the 70s, voiced by Casey Kasem, and he sounded just like Scooby. And so there wasn't a lot for me to draw upon. But when I received the audition, they had the word like in there a lot, kind of like what Shaggy says, like this, like that, like Scoob. And so I figured, well, wouldn't it be interesting if that character kind of had the same cracky voice affectation that Scooby does? So, like Scoob, but they wanted an uptight British guy. And so I put it together, and we have Uncle Shagworthy, like at your service. And so there it was. And it just kind of came together, and I booked that, and I was so excited. Oh my gosh. Scooby Doo, first of all, bucket list item for me to play in that world. And to have something that came across so memorably to a fan base like Uncle Shagworthy was it was a lot of fun. And so later on, I got another audition for Gizmo and Stripe. I auditioned for them together. And so, I mean, I love the Gremlins movies. I've been doing those voices forever. Yeah, yeah. And so I gave it my best shot and said, here you go. We'll see what happens. And I booked it. And so that was one of the most fun and challenging voiceover sessions I think I've ever had. Because we recorded both Gizmo and Stripe together. And I
Oh.
probably should have asked to book them separately because they were very vocally stressful. Um, but it was so much fun. I'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh, okay, yeah, I definitely got to hear more about that. So, wait, so the Shagworthy, which I kind of figured that one was first because Shagworthy was one of the earlier variants showed off of MultiVersus. So I kind of figured that probably was the first one that got you, with the voice acting for MultiVersus. But which I do want to say this, just the whole concept of Ultra Instinct Shaggy. I said this before, I say it again, I still stand by this. The fact that Player First Games decide to go ahead and make that an actual character in a platform fighter is the smartest chess move in any fighting game all time. I said, like, you took a meme and made it relevant into a character, and then the Shagworthy
Yeah.
thing. I thought it was funny. It was cool. I remember me and one of my buddies was like, "Hey, let's play with Shaggy and Shaggy's uncle or whatever. See if we could get a win as a family." So that's cool. You did a great job. You knocked all three of the roles out of the park. And even though people, they were like, oh, what it was. Like, people didn't like the choice. Some people didn't like the choice of Stripe and Gizmo being put in the game, but I say it made sense because they had a reboot coming out the following year. So I say it made sense. And I actually did. And that's crazy. Wait, so you said you had to voice act yourself towards the other character when they would interact with each other, going back and forth like that?
Well, so when you're working on a video game, there isn't necessarily direct interaction. Like I don't have to juggle one voice with the other to like have a conversation. We do the dialogue and then in another session we'll do the opposite dialogue. And so obviously the multiverses characters interact with a lot of different characters, but I went in to record both of those characters in the same session. And that was very difficult. So as a voice actor, when you're booked for work, it's up to 4 hours that you're in the booth. And depending on the character role, if it's very vocally stressful, if there's a lot of efforts, things like when you hear fighters going, ha, whoa, ah, or dying, or, being exploded, or all kinds of horrible things, that's very vocally stressful. And so I should have asked to split them apart because Gizmo by himself is a constriction of the vocal box back here. And so constricting that for 2 hours and doing efforts and fighting sounds depleted me quite much. And so when we got to Stripe, I was already kind of there because like my voice was kind of going. I kind of sounded like Seth Rogen. So getting into Stripe and getting into Scratchy, that was very difficult. But it was so much fun. I was so excited to be voicing those characters, and I seem to have stumbled into a lot of what we call legacy characters, which are characters that have been voiced by many people over many period of years. From Donald Duck, who's turning 90 this year, I'm the third person to have voiced him.
Okay.
Lucky the Leprechaun, there's probably been over a dozen of us who voiced Lucky in his 50 years. Grimace, probably about four of us. And now, Gizmo and Stripe. So Gizmo, originally voiced by Howie Mandel, and currently voiced by my buddy AJ Lacasio, who does Secrets of the Mogwai, and of course I do it for Multiverses. So we share these roles with a lot of people, and that's kind of what I've stumbled into. So for me, it's really satisfying to get it right. And so I pour so much energy and time into research, listening, trying to see if there's any little nostalgic isms that I can bring in to make the character connect with the audience. And so Gizmo and Stripe were no exception. I watched the Gremlins movies. I listened to the video games that existed to try to just mine anything that I could, because a lot of it was unprecedented new territory, things that people haven't heard before. So what does it sound like when Gizmo is knocking somebody into another dimension? I don't think that's been done before.
Right, and then that's what like a lot of characters like down to Batman, Superman, and
Yeah.
like you always gonna have more voice actors doing the character, but it's just cool when people like understand how important it is to get the voice acting right on it, because voice acting is like a very key component to video games now. Because back in the day, it didn't really have a lot of voice acting where in video games, but now it's like more important, especially when you're trying to tell a story and playing certain games and all like that. So hey, I gotta say kudos to you for pulling that off. You did a great job.
Thank you. It's important for me when people hear my work to not hear me. They want to hear the character they're interested in. So if that's what they hear, then I'm doing my job, and I feel happy about that.
Okay, hey, that's awesome. All right, I have another question for you. All right, so
Another one.
yeah, another one. Hey, I got a decent amount. I got a decent
Okay.
amount.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's do it.
So the next question I have for you is, how has your experience been being part of the multiverse community, and just because you was there from basically the beginning with Shagworthy, then you went to Stripe, Gizmo, and all. So
Yeah.
how has your experience personally been for yourself in your career with the whole multiverse community?
Well, the first thing that I noticed when I ventured online to kind of explore and research, more about the multiverses community was how voracious and how excited everyone was, and how everyone was really like clinging to any piece of information because they were so excited about what character was going to be revealed next, or what stage, or what surprises were in store. And I think that's something that multiverses did really well, is to capture people's imagination that way. And I'm sure, I don't have any insight, but I'm sure Player First Games and Warner Brothers are going to have that in spades this next go around. So I think that's really what a lot of the multiverses fans were looking for. And I was excited to kind of play along and say, hi, I do some voices, and I'm excited for this, and this is awesome, and I like playing. And so I would jump in the game and I'd play as Uncle Shagworthy. He's my main.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, I would catch people on Twitter saying, I think I just played you on the game. Was that you? And I'd be like, yeah, you kicked my butt. Wasn't that fun? So, I thought that level of interaction was a lot of fun. And I thought people were very welcoming and really just excited and zestful about this property. And, what's not to like about that?
Yeah, hey, I definitely could say the whole thing, like with people just being excited for what character be in the game, being excited. I'm definitely one of them, because like there's so many properties that I just grew up watching and playing and stuff like that. And even with some of Gremlins, which I'm like, man, I haven't seen that in forever. I went back to go watch the movie to be like, oh, okay, so that's what happened. Like, I know the characters, but I don't remember. I said that's the importance of taking obscure characters and actually put them into a game. But like
That's right.
that's
I've
speculation.
heard that from a lot of people who are like, I
Okay.
didn't even know about the Gremlins. And because of the game, I went and watched the movies, and now I'm a fan. And that's how you do it.
Yeah, and you definitely right about that, because still to this day I still speculate myself. We talk about I talk about my YouTube videos and all the time. People always messaging me like, "Hey Shader, what character you want to see in multiverses, or who's your top 5 favorite characters and all like that." Which side question, just real quick, what character would you like to see being in multiverses? Who's your most wanted character?
I mean, okay, so listen. Listen. I don't want to get in trouble because like I know my overlords at Warner Brothers are probably listening to me intently. But I would say this: y'all did a collaboration with McDonald's with the Happy Meals, and I happen to voice Grimace. So that could be fun. Maybe there should be a campaign that started. I see a lot of people who are like Walter White from Multiverses, Muscle Man from Multiverses. I see a lot of that. So maybe some Grimace love. That would be fun.
Hey, you know what? Hey, that's funny. I'm gonna go right into my next question. So this is my next question, because I'm glad you brought it up. It said, "What
And I know
is?"
all the Walter White fans are like,
Hey, that's another character people split on. They're like, Walter White. I'm like, me, I said, I don't care. I just want to play the game. I have certain characters that I want to be in the game. Like, my most wanted character for people that follow me in Static Shock and Ben 10. But the thing about it, though, is this is like, hey, like, you got certain characters that people want, and people conflicted, like, man, I don't want that character. I don't want that. I said, look, the more characters, the better. I don't see them stopping, just keep adding characters. They just go keep going on and on. So eventually, they're going to give you a character that
You
you
know,
like.
it's interesting you mentioned Static Shock. I was just at a charity event for the Ed Asner Family Center. We raised over $60,000 selling Funko Pops, having celebrities come in and sign. Phil Lamar, the voice of Static Shock,
Okay.
was there with me, and he loves the character. He really loves the character. So who knows what could happen
Man,
in the future?
I would definitely love to talk to him. But dang, but that's cool though. That's awesome. So my next question, we're going into the McDonald's thing, right? Which
Oh,
this was the question, right? So as most people know already, MultiVersus and McDonald's, they collaborated, right? And you voice acted Grimace for for the character.
yeah.
So, what is your thoughts on the collaboration? And when you see, 'cause I don't know when you found out, but when you see it or whatever, what was your thoughts on that? Because two of your biggest roles, Grimace from McDonald's, and then you got your roles from MultiVersus collaborating. How was that for you? How did you react? You're like, oh dang, those two came together, and I had something to do with the both of them.
I mean, my first reaction was a touch of FOMO. I'm like, well, I don't feel directly involved in this situation, and yet, I feel almost like, in some weird sense, a brand ambassador for McDonald's, being that I voice probably one of the most iconic fast food characters of all time, and then also being a part of MultiVersus, which is, by the way, still game of the year, fighting game of the year,
Yes,
uh,
still
and
fighting game of
and
the year.
still fighting game of the year, and coming back with a vengeance. So I'm really excited just to see the momentum, because listen, I'm just a voice actor. I'm a cog in a much larger machine, but I'm always proud of the work that I do. I put so much of myself into it, and I want to see it succeed. So to see those two come together to do something it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to see that. And I hope people enjoy it.
Right. And hey, like I said, it just still awesome just seeing that. I know people running around trying to get Happy Meals and everything to collect all the stuff from it. I'm like, shoot, I had a hard time trying to get some of the ones myself. But
Hey, you know what? In my day, I've collected, figures from McDonald's Happy Meals in my youth, and so I know the struggle is real.
so my next question for you, which this is a question that I gotta ask this question because I'm a big fan of MultiVersus. I enjoy what Player First Games did, and I enjoy what everybody that had a hand in making this game, did, because it's my favorite game all the time. That's why I talk about it all the time on my YouTube channel. But how is a day like working for Player First Games, Warner Bros, working on MultiVersus? How is it? Like I guess the day-to-day operation or whatever it may be.
Well, so again, I would just say, from my perspective as a voice actor, I'm an independent contractor. I go where the work is and where I'm wanted. And so, my experience thus far working with Player First Games has been wonderful. The direction that I received on the day when I was recording those character voices, they knew what they wanted. Their direction was clear, and yet they gave me a lot of creative freedom to infuse as much love into the characters that I possibly could. And that's very gratifying for me because, when someone comes in and says, do it this way, and no other way, you go in, you do your thing, and you collect a paycheck. And in my case, I got to really play and I got to really embody these characters and do new things that hadn't been done before. And so that was very exciting for me. And then to see, obviously, the output, which is this fantastic game. I'm not a big gamer. I'm really not. I work in the video game industry, but I don't play video games a lot. My time is focused on other things. but I really jumped in and decided to learn MultiVersus and to play it, and I was delighted. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and at how much other people enjoyed it. And so it was just kind of this feedback loop of everybody's enjoying it, I'm enjoying it, I really love this. And I think that's what a lot of people are gravitating towards. And it's a testament to the folks that play our first games that they've created this and pioneered this vision that they have. They've got such a great team over there. And Warner Brothers, who's been doing this for 100 years, you know?
Hey, so with that being said, because this goes to the next question I have. Out of the characters you voice acted for MultiVersus, who's been your favorite?
Oh, don't make me do it, man. Oh, don't make me do it. I often say this because people ask me who's the favorite character that you've ever voiced, and I have special stories and places in my heart and in my psyche from all the characters that I've voiced. They represent good things and good times. And so I'm nostalgic for all of them. I really can't say that I have a favorite, but there's always the first, and that was Uncle Shagworthy. So as my first volley into the world of MultiVersus, Uncle Shagworthy definitely holds a special place in my heart. But Gizmo is obviously more well known and more beloved, I think, by the world at large. And this amazing character that Howie Mandel created with his iconic voice. So I'm just happy to be, you know, how should I say this? Borrowing some popcorn, you know, for a little while. That's just been a joy for me, and I hope people enjoy it, and I hope people remember the work.
Okay. So, which by the way, I can understand that because you put a lot of work into each of the characters, so it's hard to be like, this is my favorite, this is my favorite. So,
Yeah,
you know, each of them
like
means
all of
something
these
different.
characters have equally paid my bills. I love them lots.
Hey, you know what? I understand that. That's definitely a great response. All right. So I have this question for you. All right. I'm not sure if you can answer this one. This one of the questions I'm like, okay, I have to ask, but if you don't answer it, I get it. This is the question. By any chance, rather for any of the characters that you already voice acted, or maybe even one that you have planned, have you recorded any new voice lines since the open beta shutdown?
Since the beta shutdown, no, I haven't recorded anything. I haven't. I've only just been there to support the community and say, don't worry. I think it's coming back. I mean, look, I'm not working directly with players. I don't know the intricacies of what they're doing or Warner Brothers is doing, but my gut tells me that everything is going to work out. And so far, so good. So no, I have not gone in to record anything since the shutdown.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Cause
I would like to. I'll
right,
put that button on it. I would like to.
yeah, hey, right there, Ross back in, you know.
Maybe I could voice Walter White, Jesse. Jesse.
Hey, matter of
That's
fact,
all he says. That's his fighting thing. Jesse.
matter of fact, it's funny because I'm gonna go into my next question. What characters? What characters? Hey, look, I put something like this. Shout out to my own team and everything. And like they line the questions up perfectly. I think the questions they rolling right into one into another. But the next question I do have is, you said Walter White, but I just want to see what characters do you personally like that you would like to voice act if you ever got the opportunity?
Ooh. Well, I mean, shout out to the Shader team for these great questions. What character would I like to voice? You know, I'll say this. I have always had the Looney Tunes characters on my bucket list.
Okay.
Just in general, they are aptly and amazingly voiced currently by Eric Bauza and other people, and I'm not after anybody's job. But if there was an obscure like character from like 50 or 60 years ago that they wanted to bring back for something, that would be my jam. That would be my space jam.
Okay.
So that's something that I would love to do. Any like unknown Looney Tunes character, kind of like Uncle Shagworthy was brought in. I would love to do that in the Looney Tunes world. That would be wonderful for me.
Okay. All right. Hey, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Hey, I'm like, I wonder if you have any character you like, voice act or whatever. Because I'm sure the thought come across like, because you did voices for 3 characters, 3, and it's like I'm sure you're like, dang, I kind of like to do another, if the opportunity presents itself, of course.
If the opportunity presents itself, yeah, 100%, I'm down.
Since you've been working with multiverses and all like that, what has your relationship been like with everybody you work with so far, from Tony, the developers, the other voice actors, or anybody else that had anything to do with multiverses? How's your relationship been with them? And I'm sure people really want to know about Tony as well, of course.
It's been great. In all honesty, I have not met Tony in person yet. We've had only a couple interactions. Again, I am a small cog in a very large machine, and he's the head of that machine, so he has a lot more to worry about and focus on than little old me. But I will say the voice actors that I know and that are a part of Multiverses are also very excited about the property and about the fan engagement. We're all happy to be working, doing the thing that we love, and to have it be recognized in such a monumental way is it's wonderful for all of us. But yeah, the team that I've worked with, my casting directors, the voice directors I've worked with, all have been wonderful. And it's been a collaborative experience. And, hey, hopefully I'll meet Tony at some point. I did offer to take him out for lunch. So, Tony, if you're watching, we're overdue, buddy. Let's go grab some coffee.
Oh yeah, hey, that would be a funny and very interesting conversation, And one thing that I like about the both y'all interact and care about the community. I see that from the both y'all, rather through Twitter or whatever it may be on Discord. I heard about how you interact with people on Discord. I said, well, I missed that. I didn't see them on Discord, but but yeah,
Yeah, just Reddit. I tend to lurk on Reddit sometimes. Where else? Discord, I'm not as familiar with, but I certainly try. And then I've done Twitch on occasion, streaming the game while it was still active.
Okay, dang, I gotta try to catch one of them streams for sure. Tell the Shade team, hey, y'all swing by, listen to Daniel Ross play the game, And I'm sure
Heck yeah.
I'm sure the main character you use is all Shagworthy, Stripe, and Gizmo, probably, huh?
I gotta represent. That's my fam.
Man, so I had a question, and I think you already
did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you actually kind of already answered it, and the question was, have you even had a chance to play the new version of MultiVersus? Yeah.
Oh, have I had a chance to play the new version? How do I answer? No, I have not.
Hey, I like that. I said, hey, I'ma ask, I'ma see, because I said that's
No,
actually,
I haven't. I don't know anything.
now. Hey, now I believe you, shoot. Hey, I said a lot of people they just sit around waiting, like, oh man, like what's going on? Hey, we got a play test or something going on, like. Shoot, they even post something on today talking about X-Men or something on Twitter or whatever, and people going crazy behind that. Just any little thing they post, bam, the community just blows up.
They know what they want.
Oh, it's just crazy. Like with with how people was talking about when it came to you, being like one of the voice actors that's interact with the community or whatever. The same way that you like act on Twitter and everything, the same way I'm getting for this interview. So it's actually cool, like actually hearing you talk, having a conversation with you, and it's going pretty well. So it's funny
Well,
and
I'm the
bringing a
same
smile
to
to
you,
my
my
face.
friend.
Hey, well, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the conversation with me too. That's pretty cool. So, um, another question that was asked, I said, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna just sum this question up into one question. Do you know anything at all when it comes to the game? Anything?
Yes, I know things.
And some things you
I
can't
know
talk about
things.
on.
What those things are, I cannot say. Listen, anytime a voice actor works on a property or any actor works on a property, we have to sign these things called non-disclosure agreements.
There you go.
And that means we can't talk about nothing. So if you ask me if I know something, my default answer is going to be, well, no, I don't, or yes, I do, but I can't say. And so I have to say I cannot say.
Right, and that's why I was telling some people like I can ask. Like some people be like, they be like, "Hey, Shader, can you ask Tony if this comes to?" I said, "What do you think he gonna tell me? Yeah." No, he gonna tell me no. There's
The only
ideas.
thing, here's the only little nugget of information that I can give you. I'm going to give you like I'm going to just translate this to all the fans out there. I'm excited, and therefore you should be too.
There you go. Hey, there you go. So one last thing that I have for you before I get ready to wrap it up. When it comes to voice acting or being around other voice actors or whatever, and when y'all like the planning stage of the voice actor, kind of you said that you got basically free range to do it how you want to do it, right? Like you kind of they like kind of like you could kind of do your own thing in a way or whatever. So is there any point of time to where you voice act with another person in the room or anything like that, or everything just all by yourself?
That's a great question. So a lot of people don't know this about voice acting, but 99% of the time, we're in the booth by ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, back like 10, 15, 20 years ago, going even further back, you would have the entire cast of an animated show in the same room recording together. And they would be bouncing off of each other and feeding off of each other's energy and sense of humor and timing and pacing. And I think, there is some merit to that. But people have differing schedules. When you get voice actors into a room together, they have a tendency to crack each other up, and sometimes that means less work gets done. So yeah, a lot of the times we work solo. And let's see, I think for Uncle Shagworthy, if I remember correctly, that was still around the time of the pandemic. So I recorded that here in my home office,
Oh, okay.
which was a whole experience in and of itself. But then Gizmo and Stripe, I definitely went into the studio for, and that was a treat. But yeah, for MultiVersus, I recorded solo for all of my characters, and I believe that my peers did as well.
So the studio, and that's the one that like the main studio for multiverses and all that they kind of shoot some of their trailers and all from. I'm guessing that's where you went to voice acting and everything.
Well, so Warner Brothers, I can't speak to every situation, but in my case, Warner Brothers will contract out different studios that they work with. So you may not be at the same studio. I might not be on the Warner Brothers lot, which is practically down the street from where I live.
Okay.
Sometimes you go down there, other times you go to other studios, depending on what's available or what their needs are. So yeah, think it was Green Street Studios. I think. Forgive me if I'm butchering that. That was one of the studios, and then obviously here in my home, you go where the work is.
No, hey, no,
And
that
it's
make
the same for my work with Disney too. Sometimes I'd be at the studio. Sometimes I'd be at Disney TV Animation. Sometimes I would be at this great place called Out Loud Audio. It really depends on where the work was that day when we were recording for Donald Duck.
okay. Wait. So I just want to ask real quick about the Donald Duck thing. So the Donald. So about Donald Duck. So like, are you voice acting him for like a show, movie, a game? Like, what is it exactly?
Yeah. I started voicing for Donald Duck in 2015 with Mickey and the Roadster Racers on Disney Junior. And that spun off into Mickey Mouse Mixed Up Adventures. We did Chippendales Nutty Tales, Hot Diggity Dog Tales. There was a stop motion special for the holidays that we did, some interstitials. And then I won an Emmy in 2022 for my
Oh,
work
okay.
on Mickey and Minnie Wish Upon a Christmas, which was a Christmas TV special. And so that was very special for me. My mom actually taught me how to do the Donald Duck voice when I was 3. And so that was our love language. And when I lost my mom in 2022, the last thing we saw together was Mickey and Wish Upon a Christmas. So to take home the gold and the Emmy for that was meaningful on so many different levels. Let alone for Donald, that was his first Emmy and mine as well. So we shared that in common.
Dang, it's crazy just think about how old a character like Donald Duck is, and he got his first Emmy,
That's
like
right.
after so many years. So,
That's right.
so and matter of fact, just thinking about it, just a side question. So when cause MultiVersus, of course, they won the Fighting Game of the Year award back in
Yeah.
2022. So my question is this: I'm just thinking about it. Was anybody from MultiVersus even nominated for an award for voice actor by any chance? I don't recall, but I think it would have been cool if so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
'Cause I think that would have
And
felt,
that's a shame.
yeah, for real. So, so the last question that I do have is this. So, what is something that you would like to tell the multiverse community and the Shade team? And well, actually, it's like a two-part question. And the other part is, what do you want your legacy to be when it comes to multiverses?
Ooh. Well, my message to the community at large, the Shade team, is I love you. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Thank you for fueling the desire, I think, for player first games to be the best that they can. Thank you for demanding a great product and for participating and playing along and having faith when it seemed like it might not be the easiest thing to do. I personally want to thank everybody for their support and for their engagement. Again, I'm just a people's, living his life, and I happen to have a very fun job, but to participate in that way and to play along and to share in, maybe a little mischief here and there, or a little bit of, some winking and some behind the scenes stuff. I think that's a lot of fun, and so I thank everybody for being there and for enjoying the game and for enjoying my performance. It's been a blast. It really has. And what was the second part? What was the second part of the question?
What do you want? The second part was, what do you want your legacy to be when it comes to
Oh
multiverses?
yeah, my legacy. As far as multiverses goes, I just want everybody to have a good time. If people go in and they play Gizmo, Stripe, Uncle Shagworthy, and they think of me, I'm over the moon excited about that. But honestly, I don't want them to think about me. I want them to enjoy the game. I want them to be invested in the game. I want this game to last a very very long time, and to be something really special for people in the years to come. Because I'll tell you something, as you grow up and as you get older, the things that you loved from your past stay with you. And one of the very first things that I ever worked on professionally as a voice actor was Transformers the game back in 2007,
Oh,
when
okay.
I voiced Starscream, leader of the Decepticons. And that was incredible fun. As you can tell by my background, I'm a big Transformers fan. And so that was amazing for me. And to this day, almost 20 years later, people still come to me and say that was a special part of my childhood. It was there for me when I needed something like that. Maybe I was going through a hard time and it just added some levity and a distraction for me. If I can be that for somebody or participate in that special place that people hold, that's what I want my legacy to be.
Okay, all right. And I like that answer. Which, by the way, y'all see the and matter of fact, just another question. If they decided to put Transformers in multiverses and they asked you to voice act that, I bet you would think that'd be pretty cool, though. Bring it right back around, huh?
I think it's pretty darn cool. I mean, Transformers is paramount. I think. I don't know how all that works, but yeah, if Transformers was in there, you better believe I would love to have a phone call.
Yeah, hey, yeah. You see, the thing about that too, well, people don't understand about certain characters being added to games is like you have like games like Smash Bros, Mortal Kombat, Injustice that add characters from other distributors that own them, right? And it's
That's
like
right.
I said, money talks. If they want, like I said, it'd be cool if Goku be in MultiVersus, that'd be a perfect fit because they got him in Fortnite out of all things. And I said, trust me, money talks. If they want to put him in the game, all they gotta do have the money.
You get Goku and One Punch Man, then you've got some questions that can be answered.
For real. Oh man. Oh man. So, by any chance, do you have any questions for me by any chance?
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color would be black or purple. One of those two.
I love it. And you know what? Grimace is purple, so he must be your favorite.
Hey,
oh boy.
Hey, the funny thing when it comes to like McDonald's characters and stuff like that, I never really had like a favorite. I would just like always see them or whatever. But I know like with you voice acting Grimace, seeing you cause like the Multiverse is the first game where I really like paid attention to everything. From like the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, the music, the soundtrack, the voice actors, everything. Where I'm like, man, I just want to know everything about this game. I went to the website, read the description of the characters, all that. And then like even with yourself, I'm like, dang, okay, so he voiced that Grimace and all that. And it's like, okay, yeah. So it's like I don't know, like somebody said it's like being addicted when it comes to this game or whatever. Because I said the possibilities is just endless when it comes to multiverses. So
when you're passionate about something, you want to know all about it. You want to go down the rabbit hole. And so Multiverses is it for you. For me, it was voice acting. There was a point where the light bulb went off in my head and I said, wait, there are actors behind those voices that I love. That's a job that somebody could have. Why not me? There was a moment where that light bulb went off. And so, having that epiphany in that moment, I love it for you, man. And you're doing great with your community and your shade team. So keep that up.
Oh, yeah. Hey, real quick, by any chance, do you have a pair of sunshades?
Do I have, not handy, no.
Okay, no, it's cool. I just have to ask that question. People are like, shade tea, you got a pair of sunshades or whatever. Hey, I just had to ask. For the heck of it. I said, hopefully, Multiverse they put like all like sunshades as like it don't have to be a weapon. Like you just pick it up off the ground, you just have it on the character face. I think it'd be pretty funny.
I mean, I could take Optimus Prime here. I could wear him as that doesn't work that way.
Nah, it ain't gonna
This
work.
is actually kind of awkward, isn't it? I'm sorry, Optimus. I'm gonna put you down now.
But hey, other than that's all I have. I greatly appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
And look, I asked every question there is, and I just put it like this. Anybody have any more questions? Ask down below in the comment section, and I'll send it to Mr. Daniel Ross to see if he can answer it. I'll respond to y'all. Is that cool with you?
Perhaps you should ask Uncle Shagworthy.
Oh yeah, of course he'll have all the answers. And if not, he'll power up on you.
Exactly. Don't feed your Mogwai after midnight. Don't get him wet, or a Stripe might come knocking. Yeah.
But hey, I gotta say thank you once again, Mr. Daniel Ross. Thank you, Shade Team, for watching. Y'all already know. Make sure y'all subscribe for the latest news, and I might have more interviews. Hey, never know. I might be able to bring Daniel Ross back on.
There you go.
But hey, thank you guys for watching. Make sure y'all like, comment, share the video, and also subscribe and join the Shade Team. Join the Shade Team. Thank you guys for watching, Mr. Daniel Ross. You want to finish it out?
It was a pleasure talking to you. Have fun out there, Multiversus people.
Yep. And shout out to the Shade Team as always. And I'm out.